Colin Cowherd decides how much NFL teams need to panic after week 3. Let's see what Colin in the pink shirt has to say.
A month of the NFL season's in the books, and there's a little bit of panic setting in. People are freaking out, like in Dallas. So the question is 0 through 10. 0, no panic. 10, grab the life preservers. Joy, panic meter, here we go.
What?
Okay, we got the rules. 10, big time panic. 0, no panic.
Is your panic meter at for the Atlanta Falcons?
10. Atlanta Falcons, 10. Their window is so closed. Matt Ryan is terrible. Julio Jones is hurt. Dan Quinn is getting fired. They have no positive outlook. You have to hit 10 on the panic meter, blow the whole thing up, and move on. The era of Quinn, Ryan, Julio, all that shit, Super Bowls, NFC Championship games, high-powered offense, blow it up. Get rid of it. 10 out of 10.
I would say panic meter for the Atlanta Falcons is a 9. They're 0-3. Offense is humming, and they can't win. Also, Dan Quinn has a losing record. Is he close to losing the locker room? They're the first team in NFL history to lose back.
He lost the locker room. Look, you cannot blow games. I think Dan Quinn lost the locker room in the Super Bowl, to be honest. How do I request a video? Do I just put the link? Send the link to one of the mods. I think we have multiple mods in here right now. Crafty, Bucks, they're all in there. So send them the link. They'll check it out, make sure it's good, and then they'll send it to me. Thank you for getting involved, man.
Back-to-back games while leading by over 15 points, 15-plus points in the fourth. So they're capable but blowing games. I think he's got probably 2 more games left, and he's done.
What's your panic meter at for the Dallas Cowboys?
Cowboys, I think the Cowboys as a team are super talented. I think the Cowboys as a team are good enough to win. And I mean like win the division, win the NFC, stuff like that. I think organizationally they may have some issues. I don't think Mike McCarthy is the guy. So that kind of hedges me a little bit. There's no one else here. Crafty, are you up in here? Just you and me? I think the mods should be in here. Whisper me the link. So Crafty's in there. So send Crafty the link, and we'll go from there. But I think Dallas is fine on the field. They're just not where they need to be organizationally. So I'll say, and the NFC East is so bad that they don't have to be very good to win the East. So I'm going to say panic meter's at like a 4. Not very high at all.
I would say very low. I would put it at 4 because I don't...
Colin! You just going to steal what I say? You just going to steal what I say? That's how we're going to do it in here, Colin? You're just going to take what I say. You're going to take my exact number and drop a 4 on me. Guys, I've told y'all a million times. There is no one on Twitch, there's no one on YouTube, there's no one on Twitter, there's no one on Instagram that does it like I do it. Okay? Whatever I say, just think about this. That you're getting this content for free, and Fox Sports is paying Colin Cowherd $4, $5, $6 million a year for that content. All right, Colin, just repeat what I said.
I don't think they've looked particularly well coached. The good news is all 3
That's what I said.
games have been one possession. Losing at Seattle and to the Rams is not the end of the world. They're tied for the NFC East division lead. Dak is healthy and playing pretty well. They have the best total offense in the NFL, and I do think there's some nice wins coming up in the schedule.
What's your panic meter at for the Denver Broncos?
It's hard for me to even be panicked if I'm the Broncos because what was their ceiling? What is Denver's ceiling? They're in the same division as Kansas City, so they're not going to win the division. They're not a Super Bowl contender. They're not even really a playoff contender. Until they get their guy, until they get a core of who's my quarterback, who are my offensive weapons, until that happens, there's nothing to panic about. So I don't think they're good, but I don't see why you should panic. I mean, if you're the Denver Broncos, the best thing that can happen to you is you go 0-16 and draft Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know what the panic could possibly be. If you're panicking as a Broncos fan right now, I'm not sure what the hell your expectations were for the season.
That's a little more panic. I'd say a 6. Von Miller's out, may not return until December. They've used 3 quarterbacks, so it's a carousel. That's never good unless you're a kid. All other carousels are bad. Drew Lock has played, Jeff Driscoll, Brett Rippon. So once you don't know who's going to be quarterback, and I also think you're playing for a wild card in that division anyway. Kansas City's going to win it, so that is problematic to start.
What's your panic meter at for the Houston Texans?
The Texans, I think whenever you have your franchise guy, you get put on a clock. This happened with the Saints, like with Drew Brees. You know that the window is open as long as he's there. And this is a couple years ago, But like once you have that guy, you have a certain amount of time before you're going to lose that guy. Or really, I guess, happened with the New Orleans Pelicans and Anthony Davis. It's like, we've got to win now because once he leaves, it's going to be way harder. Houston's in that situation where they have Deshaun Watson. They know they have their guy. They have to win, and I think they're going backwards. I think Bill O'Brien is not the right coach. I think that at one point their defense was the best part of the team. The defense is older. They've lost players. I mean, they've lost J.J. Watt, all that stuff. Or J.J. Watt's constantly injured. I think the defense isn't what it used to be. Obviously, Clowney and players like that are gone. So I think it is a panic. I think it's more than these other teams. So I would say you're in the 6-7 area because it is a win while you have Deshaun, or you waste this really good quarterback. You waste this opportunity. I think the first step is to get rid of Bill O'Brien and get Deshaun Watson some help. Like trading DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson and whatever the hell else they got is not the move if you're trying to win now.
I would say it's even worse. I would say that's a 7. First of all, they're the only NFL team that has not forced a turnover. That's a problem, meaning you can't get people off the field. Deshaun's sitting on the bench. They can't run the football, and they don't stop the run. They're worst in the NFL in rushing defense, and I think they have the second worst rushing offense. So, again, you're talking about, here's the good news. The reason they're not higher is him, Deshaun Watson. And, there's hope. They do have some nice individual players, but it's getting to be panic time.
What's your panic meter for the LA Chargers?
I feel good if I'm the Chargers. I feel great. If I'm the Chargers, I'm living life. I'm not panicking. I'm loving it. I'm sitting here like Justin Herbert's playing well. He's the heir apparent. He's the future. Tyrod Taylor, get on the damn bus and get the hell out of town. I mean, I'm feeling good. I'm at like a 2 if I'm the Chargers, a 2 or a 3, because I'm playing for the future. I don't care about this situation at all. Who's my favorite NFL team? I am a New Orleans Saints fan. What about you, Insanity?
It would be a little bit less. I would say a 6. Here's where
What are you panicking for if you're the Chargers? What are you panicking for? You're not winning the division. You've got a new rookie quarterback starting. What is the ceiling? I don't understand what you're panicking for. I think you're loving life.
I'll defend them. Everybody's hurt. Derwin James, Chris Harris, Mike Williams, Brian Beluga, Melvin Ingram, all out. Here's the problem. You got a young quarterback in a division where you've got Derek Carr and Patrick Mahomes. So you could look up. Herbert played pretty well, but you could look up and find yourself 4 games out of first and 3 games out of the playoffs here if the Raiders can turn it around and play any defense. So you got some injuries, and you got a young quarterback who's supposed to lead you out of them. That's tough.
How about the Minnesota Vikings?
Big time panic. This is way up there because you're rebuilding, right? You're replacing a lot of starters with young players, but you also have aging players like Kirk Cousins. So if you're the Vikings, I think you're kind of half in, you're kind of half out. There is panic because you're regressing so fast, whereas you were a 10-win team who then was an 8-win team who's now a probably 4-win team. So now you're looking at Kirk Cousins like, okay, well, he's about to be gone. So now we're rebuilding, but are we going to have to rebuild again once we bring in a new quarterback? So they're probably in like that 8 area of things are looking pretty bad, and I don't think they have the pieces that can pull them out of it. So you're looking at a team that was probably trying to get into the playoffs, and now they're probably going to be in the bottom 6 or 7 of the league. So I'm going to say an 8.
That's even more worrisome. 7. Mike Zimmer's a great defensive coach, and they have the second fewest sacks by any team in the second worst scoring defense. What's that tell you? They got a personnel problem. They don't have people.
They're replacing everybody.
So when you have a defense, the GM and the coach are very good defensively. You have a nice running game. can't get people off the field. So that's a non-fixable problem to me. Dallas can fix most of its issues. Minnesota can't. That's why Cowboys are 4 on the panic meter. Minnesota's a 7.
How about the New Orleans Saints?
This is tough because I got to take my blinders off from being a fan. I think that if this was before the Green Bay game, I would have said the panic was at like a 9, because that's when you're thinking about, like, we're kind of in the Vikings world where, are we not even a 10-win team? Are we a 5-win team? But after watching the Green Bay game, I think it's a little bit more obvious where we fit into the hierarchy of the NFL. I think we're probably a little closer to a playoff team, win the division, stuff like that. If we drop a couple more games, I think we play Detroit next. If we drop the game against Detroit, I think the panic level goes to like an 8 or a 9, because now we may not even win the division. But I think right now we're pretty confident that we can win the division. So I personally, I'm not panicking at all with the Saints. I would say like a 4 or like a 3. I'm not panicking whatsoever. But if we lose another one, it's a big time panic. Let's see. Score update from the wild card series: Atlanta Braves 0, Cincinnati Reds 0, bottom 12. Damn, pitchers duel. FN Dino. Hi, how are you, man? How's it going today? Thank you for being up in here. Appreciate it very, very much. Thank you very much. All right, let's see here. See what he says. So I'm going to say a 4 or a 3.
4. Okay, Drew Brees doesn't throw the ball down the field. That is not ideal.
I'm the best.
But Michael Thomas could return this week. Top 10 scoring offense. Here's also always good news: the Lions, Chargers, Panthers, Bears coming up. So again, you go on the road for Monday Night Football. You got to face Aaron Rodgers. Everybody freaks out. But don't we believe that this is a playoff team?
Yes.
It's what I just said, Colin. That's what I just said, Colin. That's literally what I just told Chad. I've already said that.
I think we still believe, and again, those aren't real problems. Real problems are we can't get to the quarterback. We don't have good enough.
Real problems are the Saints defense is giving up 31 points a game and are 100 yards of penalties every single game. That's the real problem.
Players, they got plenty of good players, and they're getting one of them back.
What's your panic meter for the New York Jets?
This is another one. I mean, it's a 10 as far as like the franchise. The franchise is shit. The franchise is terrible. You can legitimately fire everyone. I mean, you can get rid of every single person and be like, all right, we're starting over. If there was an NFL franchise that it's time to go, like delete the franchise, it's the Jets. They're that bad. It's a situation where the NFL may need to step in and get rid of the ownership group, get rid of the coach, get rid of the general manager, and take control of this team before they implode and before they literally cannot play in the NFL and they can move to like the SEC or something. They're playing in college football. So on that end, it's a 10. As far as what the Jets think they should be, it probably is. I mean, I understand the panic, but again, this is a bottom feeder team that's playing like a bottom feeder. So I still think it's a 10 because there's literally no positives. Like I said with the Chargers, at least they have a rookie quarterback who's playing really well. What the hell do the Jets have? What do the Jets have? You know? So I guess I'll say a 10.
10. There's nothing good. The coach doesn't get along with players. Sam Darnold's regressing. The schedule's brutal. The division's better than we thought. And I don't see any hope. I mean, to me, if they lose to Denver, I've already been told that the ownership group is calling representatives, like agents, for coaching lists. None of it works. And I'll go back to something I've said ad nauseum here. You've really got to be concerned when your quarterback guru, Ryan Tannehill, appears to be a better quarterback and more consistent since leaving Adam Gase. Outside of Peyton Manning, not a lot of Adam Gase defenders at this point.
Panic meter for the Philadelphia Eagles.
10. I mean, this is another one where you have a Super Bowl core in Peterson and Carson Wentz or whoever else you want to say. You don't have too many changes as far as personnel, but you're regressing at a rapid rate. This is another one where I think you blow up a bunch of the team as far as, you know, maybe you move on from Wentz, maybe you move on from Peterson, maybe you move on from the GMs, the ownership group. This is a failure on the field. This is a failure in the front office, and this is a panic time because it may be time to make a huge organizational shift. So, I mean, it could be a 10. I would say the absolute minimum is an 8.
It's something. It's more than Dallas or the Saints, but it's a 6. They're a half game out of first. We know Carson Wentz.
The only saving grace is that the NFC East is so bad that they could still win the division going 8-8.
We saw last year as talent. I'll defend him. Again, cluster injuries. Jalen Reagor, the rookie receiver's hurt. Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson hurt. Dallas Goedert, the tight end, is hurt. So I don't know what's wrong with their training facility and their medical staff. But once again, Carson doesn't have a ton to work with. I do think here's the panic part. Since Frank Reich took over the job with the Colts as head coach, slowly, Carson doesn't quite look like the same quarterback. And we know, looking at some of these young quarterbacks, coaching feels like about 75% of it. So I think there is panic there. I think there's real panic. But you paid him $150 million. You can't bail on it.
No, you cannot.
You can't bail when your house has a leak. You got a mortgage. You got to sleep somewhere. So you got to figure it out. You can't run from every problem. You got to figure this out. It's no fun, but the good news is the division's terrible. I can't remember a division. I remember one year Seattle won a division.
Yeah, Seattle won the division at 7-9.
At 7, 8-1. Was it 7-9? 7-9. That's
yes, Colin. Am I on another level or what?